Hi, it's me, the old geek guy again. I'm doing this video, I've done one already that's very similar to this, but just walking, but up and down the street here. But I thought what I'd do is walk a mile and kind of show you how I do it and where I do it and where I go and what makes a mile. And maybe it'll encourage you to do some walking too. So I'm just thinking right now, walk a mile in my shoes and see how it helps you every day if you can, 1 mile. Mine are about 20-minute miles, sometimes 21 minutes, sometimes 18 or 19 minutes, depending on how good I feel, and sometimes the music that I'm listening to that really helps me to walk a mile as well. So let's get going. Let's start walking. Okay, this is how I start my walk. I've got to get my walk going with my watch. So I tap my watch like that. Then I tap it here like this. Then I tap it here like that. And it's gonna 1, 2, 1, go. There we go. Walking today. Now, we're going to do a 1 mile walk today. We're not going to do the 2 mile. 2 miles are a little long, it's 40 minutes. I'm doing about a 20-minute mile or about 3 miles an hour when I walk, which is a little better than just a slow pace. But as you can see, it's steady. That's what I want, steadiness. So this is Rio Branco we're on. Rio Branco is my street in Hacienda Heights, California. Now, I kind of like walking in the street. I know it sounds crazy, but to me, I think the sidewalks are a little dangerous. And I'll show you why when I get to a point. Sidewalks have a lot of ups and downs and repairs, and Hacienda Heights is not well known for good sidewalks, believe me. This section here isn't too bad, but I still prefer the street. The street's basically pretty smooth. You can see there's no bad cracks or anything, just little cracks and all too. So, but anyway, so here that's why I like to walk the streets a little bit less dangerous. I think I've mentioned this before, the beast. There's the beast. This guy has parked this in front, and it's that way sometimes for weeks. Oh, by the way, that's what I'm talking about. Bad sidewalks. See it there? You can trip over that. I trip over them all the time, see? It's because of the tree. That's what does it. So now I'm gonna cross over. I always look up the street, make sure there's nothing up there. Come around, cross over. Here we go, cross around, there we go. This gimbal is a very inexpensive one. I think it's $89 now, or it used to be $89. It does everything you want it to do. Pretty steady. I don't know, I'm kind of pounding my feet here going downhill. I don't know what it's gonna look like when I actually do the editing. It'll probably be fairly smooth, a lot smoother than what I am bouncing up and down. But while I'm walking, I usually listen to my music. So I'm going to put my music in my ears. You won't hear it, but I will. And the way I do it is I say, "Hey Siri, play my music." So now we're turning on to Surrounding Grande. I had to turn off the original sound because I inadvertently started playing music on my iPhone, which will also record with the video, and I didn't realize that. The problem with that is that when I put this on YouTube, YouTube won't accept it because it's actually music that should be paid for, so to speak. It's not music that's public. But anyway, here I am on Surrounding Grande right now and walking up towards Kiska. It's a little along the street. It's not real long. Like I mentioned before, I think in the original part of this video, we're going about a mile today, actually a little over a mile. And we're going up Surrounding Grande, and it's kind of an incline, not a lot. It'll put you a little bit out of breath at my age, 81. And while you're turning on Kiska, to the left, actually I'll cross the street and then turn left on Kiska, just a short block, because I'm going to turn right again on Almogado. And Almogado is going to take us over to Fontezuela. I'll make a right on Fontezuela, and then I'm going towards Stimson. By the way, that you just saw right there are all those seed pods. Look at the seed pods. Those trees are so dirty. I got to step on them. I'm sure I'm going to slip one of these days and fall on them. That's how bad these trees are. And it's only in this block and our block that has these silly trees. And then this guy in this Jeep, whatever that is, it's a dirt truck, I guess you'd have to say, all four-wheel drive, and he has it sitting there for months at a time before he uses it and covers up the tires and everything. Well, anyway, we're going to Kiska now, and like I said, left on Kiska, right on Almogado, and then kind of a long block on Almogado until we turn again onto another street. I think it's Fontezuela. Fontezuela to the right to Stimson, and then bound on Stimson to the right, all the way back to Kiska, and then that's the loop, and we come back up to Rio Branco Drive. That's what we're going to do today. So we're almost to Kiska, getting to the end of this block. A lot of nice homes on this block. A little dry, the drought, and of course the minimized watering cycles that we have now. We only have 3 days a week that we can water right now. So here coming up on Kiska. Kiska connects with Stimson, which we're going to a little bit later as we come around onto Fontezuela. And I'm going to cross the street here on Kiska. It's kind of a dangerous street because these cars come down that hill. If you look over here, I think I turned the camera here, and yes, it does. It turns the camera here, and if you look up the street, you can see that it's kind of a hill going up that street, way at the top of that street. And these cars come down really fast, so I got to be really careful crossing the street. And this is Kiska, very short block. You can see the streets getting ready to, I think they need to put new asphalt down, or at least a new oil type surfacing, because it's in terrible shape. They do it, I guess, every 15 years, 10 or 15 years, and I guess it's about due now. Okay, so we're coming up on Almogado. And Almogado is a longer street. This Kiska is a short block coming up to Almogado that I turn on. Yeah, again, this is a 1 mile course. And we'll make this turn right here onto Almogado. You can tell this is a kind of a long street. It curves a little bit, but it goes quite a bit, quite a ways. And again, very nice homes along here. I think maybe if you look to your right there, I don't show it with the camera too well, but there are some nice properties on this street, just like our street too. It's about the same age, the homes. Our home was about 50, maybe older, maybe 51, 50. Let's see, 1968, I believe. Built, whatever. Makes it pretty old. That's like us, but that's okay. We have fun. So we're coming up on this street and we walk it along. I was mentioning earlier about the watering cycles that we have. We have suburban water supply, and it's kind of an isolated one. Most of the homes in Hacienda Heights have San Gabriel Valley water. We have suburban water. And I think the advantage with suburban water is that they use wells, water wells. And so using wells, I think they have a little bit better access to water. However, we're still restricted to 3 days a week. I wanted to show you this particular section because normally I come by here with a walking stick on these other streets because I'm not so sure about them. Look how bad it is. It's not raised or lowered necessarily, just kind of little potholes and things like that. So I've got to really keep careful where I'm walking. And with a walking stick, I keep my balance better on this street. But anyway, back to what we were talking about, the watering cycles. We have 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Doesn't sound so bad, except we're required to water just at morning before 6 o'clock and evening after 8 o'clock. In other words, between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m., we can't water. Well, that's not so bad, except that the days are getting shorter. And so it's getting darker in the morning and darker in the evening. As a matter of fact, 8 o'clock, the sun sets. So when you're watering it after 8 o'clock, you're watering in the dark. But that's okay. It's we're safe. Anyway, that's what we have to do. So that's the watering cycle. So we're just walking up the street here and enjoying it. We'll make a little music here while I'm doing that, and I'll comment when I make that final turn, or not the final turn, but that turn on to Fontasuela. I wanted to mention this little part right in here. We're coming up on this RV who parks every once in a while here. I think because he knows somebody here or something. But sometimes it's parked for a week, 2 weeks. Guy's got this nice motorcycle here you can see, and also a big trailer and a four-wheel, I guess a dirt buggy or dune buggy or whatever they're called. And see, he has a little side part of this RV that comes out and so on and so forth, and they're there all the time. And then when they aren't here, they're way up the street on the left-hand side, on the other side of that cross street there, way on the left-hand side. That's where they'll stay sometimes too. Okay, Almagado coming up. We're going to make the turn. We're on Almagado now, and we're going to go up towards Stimson. Stimson is the busy street, the busiest street closest to our house. Okay, I'm going to cross. You can see my shadow there. I'm going to cross here in a second so that I can get on the other side. I like to be on the other side. Generally, I like to walk against traffic if it's possible, and it's much easier for me that way. You can see me with my gimbal carrying my camera there. So we're walking up towards Stimson. Now we're passing this, we think is a Russian school. We don't even know what grades they teach in here. But it's been here ever since we've lived here. And there's always teachers in there. I've never seen students. It's been 2 years because of everybody's on Zoom, of course. Nobody could go into classrooms. So I can't say that I honestly haven't seen students here. It's because they just haven't allowed students. But you can see it's a pretty big complex. And as far as the school, probably covers several grades. I really don't know. We don't know much about that. It's not that it's secretive, but there's no signs. There's nothing to indicate what it is. But we have heard that's what it is, classrooms. Anyway, coming up on Stimson. Let's see how that works. So we're about to make our turn on Stimson, and you can see already that it's a little bit busier than the streets we've been walking with right now. So coming around on Stimson, and there's this center aisle that divides the main street with the side street, so to speak. It's still Stimson that I'm on, but the other part over there on the other side is Stimson as well. This is a crosswalk up here for the students. That was a school you probably saw as we were turning. It was across the street from Stimson. It was a school, and you can see right here is a crosswalk for students, and they have a crossing guard when school is in. Of course, being summer, school is out, but not for long, because I think the first week in next month that they're going to be going to school. I'm putting this zoom on here because the car is going down there. Now it's kind of hard for me to get it just right, but the cars are going pretty fast. These cars are about speed limit right now. I think it's 40 or 45 miles an hour. And at the very end, you can see them kind of disappear around there. They're going around a curve and then another curve as that hit that curve. And it's notorious. I don't mean to say notorious in that all the time, but for several times there have been quite serious accidents. And I believe 2 people at different times have been killed on that curve because the street is so wide. And at night, people are going so fast, probably 70 miles an hour or maybe faster around that curve, and they just don't make it. And then there's a post there that several have hit, I guess, cars that have killed the drivers, or at least the driver himself. I know of one case where it just split the car in half almost when he hit that post. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. But that's Stimson. Stimson's pretty busy. It can be busy, but it's wide open, and so people think when something's wide open, let's go just as fast as we can, and that's what they do. Too bad. Get on to the other side. I'm looking both ways. I know that sometimes cars will surprise me. And then I'm going to go across that oncoming street, which is Kiska. If you can remember, that's the 3rd street we turned on, Kiska. It was a very short block, and this is also a very short block as we cross the street here to the other side. It's easily, I don't know, maybe 100 feet, maybe 100 yards. It could be 100 yards long, I can't know. So we're going up Kiska. See, I didn't see that car coming, but it wasn't a problem. It was pretty far back, apparently. But we're coming up onto Sarandi Grandi, which will help complete the loop when we turn on that street. But I'll be walking back on the opposite side of the street, and you'll see that four-wheeler, that truck that we saw earlier that was covered and the tires were covered. We'll see that on the opposite side of the street as well. So here we are. We're coming to the Sarandi Grandi turn, and I'm staying on this side of the street. And now we're heading back towards our street, Rio Branco Drive. So there's that four-wheeler, cross country, I guess is what you call it, and all covered up, tires and everything, and been like that now. He's been in that position for about a month, I would say. Usually he's on the side of the street that I'm walking on right now, just across the street, but I guess he has some kind of a deal with the neighbors, I don't know. Right about now is when my watch says we've gone a mile. This is a mile. And you can just barely see the corner on the right-hand side over there where I'm going to cross the street here in a second and start back up Rio Branco Drive. And it'll be pretty close. It'll be pretty close to a mile and a quarter. Oops, I'm sorry, that was not the corner, but it's coming up. As soon as I get to it, I'll come back. Right about here, I guess. Looking both ways. This street can be tricky too sometimes. The cars come down here quite often. It's a pretty busy street. And we're coming up to a corner, Rio Branco Drive, and I think you'll be able to see how steep the incline is going back uphill to where our house is at the end of this cul-de-sac. So as we make the turn here, you can see that there's an incline beginning to go up. And as we come around the curb, I'll show you a little bit better how that incline is. From the bottom of Rio Branco. By the way, in the winter, when it's cold walking outside, the bottom of this street, Rio Branco Drive, is at least 5 degrees cooler than at the top of the hill. So you can see we're at kind of an incline here. That's the Beast. We call the Beast the RV that's always parked there. And we're coming up on that. My heart rate is probably about 120 to 125 right about now. And it may get up as high as 130 to 133, but rarely goes over that. But I'm climbing and I'm probably huffing and puffing a little bit right now too. Okay, coming up on the Beast, the RV, passing it by, still on an incline. This is about the steepest part of the hill, as a matter of fact, right here. And to come around the RV, and you can see the, I guess the summit, so to speak, of this particular incline is still a little ways off. And my heart rate is getting up there at about 125, I would imagine, if I could look at my watch and see. So it'll be a little bit here before it starts to flatten out. So it's beginning to flatten out by now. I always figure this house, I can't see it right now, I didn't show the camera on it, but this house has a garage that's almost always open with 2 cars in it ready to go in the morning. But it gets flattened right about here. It's still a little bit of an incline, but I huffing and puffing. is going down because it's not nearly as much as when you're climbing right about where the beast is, which is about the steepest part. So we're coming up to our cul-de-sac and the end of this walk. So this is pretty much the end of the walk. As you can see, this is the end of the block as well. And I usually walk around. I don't go directly to the house. I walk around the cul-de-sac here to complete my walk. And I'll be stopping my walk on my watch. Oh, by the way, that's a long driveway to the Bakala the family, the Greek family, who's been there for a long time too. So coming to our house, and this will be the end of the walk. And just wanted to let you know I enjoyed having you with me. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to put a thumbs up and subscribe if you like. I do these every once in a while. I'm not real often, but I do them once in a while. So I usually like to sit down in a chair here in the garage and relax just a few minutes, kind of a cool down. You can see my wife working over there. She likes to work in the garden. This garden is really beautiful because of her, but she does a really good job. She does a really good job. Love her a lot. Love her a lot. Anyway, thanks for being with me today, and keep walking and have a great time. And again, don't forget, subscribe and hit that old thumbs up button. That helps me a lot. Thanks a lot. So this is the old geek guy signing off for today. Until the next one, have a really, really great day today.